In today's video, I am going to be showing you how I hit 155 grams of protein in one day on a vegan diet without even trying. No protein powder, no eggs, no meat, no fish, no dairy. Let's see how I did it. If you're new to the channel, hey, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, a weight loss specialist, the creator of Slim. You can learn all about that in the description bar. I upload a new video every Wednesday and Saturday, so come join the family. I'm sure you have a ton of questions about protein, how I incorporate protein, how it relates to my diet. I'm sure you have a ton of questions, and I'm going to be answering all those burning questions. So before you type any in the comments, make sure that you watch this video in its entirety. Because what I'm gonna do first is go through what I actually ate and how all the protein comes together and adds up to be 155 grams. Then I'm going to answer the frequently asked questions. Then I'm going to answer the questions that are probably on your mind. So make sure you watch this whole video. So I posted this reel on Instagram. Shall we watch it together? What I eat in a day to get over 150 grams of protein on an entirely plant-based diet. Oh my God, she's ripped. She must be doing slim workouts. Okay, let's continue. Diet. No protein powder, meat, fish, dairy, or eggs. I never track grams of protein or macros or calories, but I did for this video to show you the truth about getting protein on a plant-based diet. These meals don't look like anything weird or crazy. They're just nutrient-dense, well-rounded, satisfying meals that happen to be high in protein. I wasn't even trying to do a high-protein day, which just goes to show that getting protein on a plant-based diet isn't as hard as you might think. And it's even easier when it's all laid out for you in the Slim app. Check the caption for details or comment Slim and I'll send you all the details so that you can get everything laid out for you and your unique goals. Okay, now let's go through everything. Starting out with a slice of sourdough bread. This had 5 grams of protein. Believe it or not, that surprised me too. Half of an avocado has just 1 gram of protein, 1.3 actually. I did put a little bit of a seed mix on there. It was such a small amount, it's probably not gonna give you anything really. But I will say, if you are trying to get in a little bit more protein, hemp hearts is a great option. Then I made a tofu scramble. So this is so easy to do. It is not complicated. All you gotta do is get some extra firm tofu, put it over a nonstick skillet and crumble it, or you can use a potato masher. And then I added in some onion and some nutritional yeast. Bada bing, bada bang. Tofu you could eat without cooking. It's good to go straight out of the package, so you're really just kind of heating it up over the skillet. But I also added in turmeric to give it that yellow sort of tinge to it. And you could add in black salt to give it an eggy flavor. I was never an eggy gal. I have probably eaten 1 egg in my life. For real, I remember in high school being like, I'm gonna try eggs. And I tried an egg and I was like, So, half of a block of tofu is 22.7 grams of protein. A tablespoon and a half of nutritional yeast is actually 4 grams of protein. And then I had some zucchini and summer squash coming to 5.5 grams of protein, making this entire meal around 38 grams of protein. For the zucchini and summer squash, I just steamed it in my microwave steamer. Chop it up, throw it in the steamer, about 6 or 7 minutes in the microwave. You could cook it however you want. You could water saute it, you could throw it in the oven and bake it. You could have it raw. I would rather die, but you do you. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. All right, next up for lunch, same sourdough bread, 5 grams of protein. Bam. 2 tablespoons of almond butter is 6.5 grams of protein. Half of a banana is 0.7 grams of protein. You're not getting much protein there. Take a shot every time I say protein. Don't. Half of a block of tofu, once again, 22.7 grams. And this was actually tofu bacon that I made. The night before, I marinated it in tahini, nutritional yeast, soy sauce, paprika, a bit of maple syrup. So that marinade had about 6 grams of protein in it. And then same deal with the zucchini, about 5.5 grams. Which brings this whole meal to 46 grams of protein. Then I had a little lunch dessert. These were the squash brownies that I made in a previous video. They're super healthy, super nutrient dense. I wasn't trying to get protein in with this. It just happened to have a little bit of protein. That's in a previous vlog. I'll link it. Then for supper, my fiance had just gotten home from a work trip, so I wanted to make us a little special dinner to have together. So I made from the Healthy Holidays cookbook my seitan marsala. This is one of my favorite special recipes. There used to be a restaurant in Boston called Walnut Grill. It was a vegan, vegetarian restaurant, and unfortunately they closed down. But they actually taught me how to make the seitan marsala. They brought me into the kitchen, probably violated a health code. I was super clean. I didn't touch anything. I just watched, and they were so nice. They taught me how to make it. But seitan, powerhouse of protein. So the seitan was 36 grams of protein, insanity. Mushrooms, who would have thought mushrooms were packed with protein? 14 grams of protein in the mushrooms. Shallots, 3 grams. I had 2 rolls, 9 grams of protein. And then for the Caesar salad, I used some kava hummus, which was 8 grams of protein, and romaine lettuce was 1.7 grams of protein, which brings that to 68 grams of protein. So that was how I did it. Now let me answer some FAQs. Before answering the FAQs, I want to talk about the perception problem with protein. There is a spectrum of how concerned people are with protein. And on one side of the spectrum are carnivore, animal-based diets where protein is the obsession. And I think most people do fall on the protein, a little bit overly conscious about protein and how much we need. And then on the other side of the spectrum is, I hate to say it, but a lot of people in the plant-based world seem to be under concerned with protein, thinking we don't need to worry about it at all. It's useless. Neither of these are true. Neither of these extremes are true. We don't need to not care about it, and we don't need to be obsessed with it. But we do have to have a healthy concern with the fact that this is one of the 3 macronutrients: carbs, fat, and protein. You do need protein in order to survive. Can't get around that one. Do we need to be obsessed with it? No. Do we need to be completely neglectful of it? No. We want to have a healthy concern with it. And I'm going to show you what a healthy concern with it looks like. Starting by answering the question, how much of it do we actually need? Most people that are obsessed with, well, I wouldn't say obsessed with protein because they probably have an answer to that one, but somebody who might be on a standard American diet that hears that you're on a plant-based diet might say, well, where do you get your protein? If you were to ask the average Joe on the street, hey, how much protein do you need? They probably wouldn't know the answer to it. And the answer is this: the average person needs about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, convert that into kilos by dividing it by 2.2, not to make this a math lesson. But as I'll tell you, you don't have to do any math here, really. The average 150 pound person would need around 55 grams of protein a day, which is not an insane amount. I got an insane amount of protein in one day, which is 155 grams. I don't do that every day, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, nor do I think that you should try to do that every day. This was a uncharacteristically high protein day, and I'll explain why that is. But 55 grams of protein per day is that's not a high ask. That's not a crazy amount that you have to get in. And how do you get it in? How can you make sure that you're getting enough without having to track your macros or your calories or know how many grams of protein are in things? Because I don't have to think that you have to do any of that. In order to meet your protein requirements, I do not believe that you have to know how many grams of protein are in certain foods or track how many grams of protein that you're eating. I really don't encourage that mentality at all because I think it creates this transactional relationship to food, and also it takes whole foods that nature provided to us and it boils them down to grams of certain macronutrients. That's such an unnatural way to look at this. Instead of saying I'm eating beans or I'm eating lentils or I'm eating peas, to say I'm eating this many grams of protein. That's not the way animals are designed to operate around food. Okay, so how do you make sure that you get enough protein? You need to make sure that you are including beans, peas, lentils, any sort of legume regularly with your meals. So you can use any kind of bean, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, garbanzo beans. Those are the same thing. Butter beans, we all know what beans are. Peas, green peas, high in protein. Lentils, any sort of lentils, green lentils, red lentils, yellow lentils, black lentils. And then you can incorporate even things that are a little bit more processed, like tofu, tempeh, seitan, all extremely high in protein. Do you need protein powders? No, you don't need protein powders. To be honest, you don't even need the tofu, the tempeh, and the seitan. You could do this exclusively using the legumes. So long as you are eating enough food and you are incorporating the beans, the peas, the lentils, and if you want to, the tofu, the tempeh, the seitan, you're going to get enough protein. Now you may have heard about complete protein. What is a complete protein? Okay, so within protein, there are 9 essential amino acids. And what does that mean, essential? It doesn't just mean they're super important. Essential means that we can't make it ourselves with our body, so we have to get it from food. The thing with plant-based foods is that some of them don't contain all of the essential amino acids, which is why it's important to make sure that you're getting a variety of different sources of protein so that you do get all 9 of them. Rice and beans is an example of a complete protein. So if you eat rice and beans every day, you're getting all the amino acids that you need. Now there are some people who need some more protein. Who might need more protein? Athletes, people that are older, women that are breastfeeding. These are people that are going to need a little bit more protein. But something that Dr. Neal Barnard says that I really love and I agree with is he says, if you're going on a run, you need more oxygen, but you don't need an oxygen tank. Just like if you are breastfeeding or if you are an athlete or if you're somebody who's older, 60 or older, you need a little bit more protein, but you don't need a protein tank. You don't need the protein powders. You don't need the protein shakes. But you do need a little bit more. How much is a little bit more? People over 60, we're gonna bump it up from 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. Not a huge difference. So if you do fall into any of those categories, it might be wise to pull from the tofu, the tempeh, the seitan to make sure that you are getting enough. For women that are breastfeeding, we bump it up to, around 1.2 to 1.3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, and then around the same thing for athletes. So again, it's not a crazy difference, but it would be wise to pull from the more concentrated sources of protein if you are somebody that falls into those categories. So what do I personally do? Do I make sure that I get a certain amount of grams of protein? Am I purposefully high protein or purposefully low protein? I'm not. What I am currently doing though is developing more recipes within the Slim app. And in the Slim app, when you go into Slim, you have the opportunity to either select that you are in weight loss mode or that you are looking to maintain your weight or that you're looking to build muscle. So as I incorporate more recipes into this app, I have to make the recipes. I have to test them, I have to take the picture of them, I have to put them into the app. And in the process of doing that, I've been making a lot more recipes that are higher in protein because I need to help people within the Slim community that want to build muscle. And I do have a lot of individuals that are in those categories that I talked about earlier, that are 60 or older and might need a little bit more protein. So on this day, when I was developing all of these recipes that now live in the Slim app, I happened to eat meals that were higher in protein because I'm developing more high protein meals to serve individuals in my app. Actually, just yesterday, I made some tempeh bacon, which I had never made before. So I'm exploring these new methods of cooking these more concentrated sources of protein to put them in the app. What do I personally do? I follow a whole food plant-based diet where when I craft a meal, I have my starch, I have my veggies, I have my legume, I have my healthy fats. So with all these meals, I still follow that formula. And if you're a client of mine or you've been a client of mine in the past, you know the formula. So for the first 2 meals, for example, my starch was my bread. I always have my veggies. My legume was the tofu, and then my source of healthy fat was the avocado or the nut butter. And if I were to do this with more of those weight loss centric meals, instead of bread, I would choose something like rice or potatoes or corn or oatmeal, something that's a little bit less processed. And for the legume, I would choose something like a bean, a pea, or a lentil, something that's a little bit less processed. But because I am in weight maintenance and because I'm developing more of these high protein recipes within the Slim app, I've been eating more of those foods, which is fine. It's great. I'm building muscle too. So come join me in Slim. If you don't want to worry at all, if you don't want to have to know how many grams and what foods to eat and what not to eat and how do I make sure that I'm getting enough, just join Slim because that's all done for you in the background. When you join Slim, you input your age, what your goals are, what your body composition is, what your weight is, how active you are, how many days you're going to be working out. And in the background, the macros, the calories, that's all done for you. I actually don't like to show you that number because once again, I don't want you to create a transactional relationship with food. I really want it to feel natural for you. But just know that it's all taken care of in the background, and then the meal plan that's given to you perfectly fits your goals with how many grams of protein you need, how many calories you need, how many grams of fat you need. So if you are worried about this, I would recommend you just join Slim so that you can get a meal plan that is specifically designed through an algorithm for you. In my next video, I'm going to do a what I eat in a day to maintain my weight video. I'm really excited about this one because I find that people know how to lose weight, especially in the plant-based world. They know just do the 50-50 plate. But how do you maintain a healthy weight after you've lost it? You don't want to continue to lose weight into oblivion, but also you don't want to go back to what you were doing beforehand. So I'm really excited about that one. If you made it to this point of the video, I want you to comment strong because you are strong on starch. I will see you inside the Slim program. See you soon.